Hello, hello, hello. It's no longer morning for me here. I did my last 7-day challenge during the morning hours, and I'm switching back to my evening hours. Really, the only reason why I did that last 7-day challenge was because of the type of challenge it was. Hey everybody, this is Rebecca Witherspoon. Just thought I'd throw that out there for any of y'all who don't know who I am. Hey Jeff, or Harriet, I'm not sure which one it is. Tonight I am starting a new 7-day series. Over the next 7 days I'm going to be doing something related to developing a winning mindset. And tonight's the kickoff. So I'm kind of setting the stage tonight for what we're going to be doing, giving you a little bit of background, and I'm going to be reading from my trusty notes because if I don't do that, I get off on with my little rabbit. Okay, I very ADD, so I know what to do to make sure I don't go off the deep end here. So anyway, I really wanted to say thank you to everyone who joined in with the last 7-day challenge that I did, because it was really, really helpful to me to have the interaction with y'all, especially some of the questions y'all posed. Those were great questions that I really appreciated, and I hope the last 7 days really brought y'all value. So tonight we are doing the very first episode of this series, and it's entitled, Do You Have a Bankrupt Mindset? So again, I'm going to be reading from my notes, and if you all want a transcript after tonight, if you want a nice transcript, not my babbling sometimes, a good transcript of this episode, email me. You'll see my email in the description, or just say down below, hey, I want a transcript, and I will get that to you. I will have that in a PDF format that I can get that to you. So anyway, I want to read this. You can't see the picture if you're in the frame. Now, I heard that this past weekend. As y'all know, I have a health and wellness business, Rick and I do. And we go to trainings once a month. And this past weekend, we were in Chicago, and we heard from a really phenomenal trainer in our company. His name is Jason Nemes, N-E-M-E-S. Anyway, he said that. He said, you can't see the picture if you're in the frame. And based on what he was talking about at the time, it just really struck me, and I just furiously wrote it down because I did not want to lose that, because it's really a profound statement. You know, we're in the middle of our lives. We are in the frame, and we need to get ourselves out of that frame to be able to see the bigger picture around us. And sometimes that's difficult to do. And that's what this series is all about, getting outside the frame so that you can see the picture that you're creating and find out if you're even creating the picture that you're wanting to create. So, one other thing that he said that really struck me was, we are not placed on this earth to work, pay bills, and die. In this world, you're either working to build your dream or someone else's dream. And I got a question for you. Which dream are you building? Are you building your dream, or are you building someone else's dream? And we're going to delve into that. Okay. Now, to give you a little bit of background about where I'm coming from on this, you know, for more than 3 decades, that's 30 years, I was building other people's dreams. And I was getting up in the morning, going to work, coming home, paying my bills, spending a little bit of time with my kids, my family. And then when I had the energy, I did that. And then I'd go to bed, and I'd set the repeat button for the next day. And I'd do it all over again. It's what I was taught I was supposed to do. That's what society tells us we are supposed to do. But is that the right way to live? And what I determined after many years, it took me a long time, folks, I determined that I had what's called a scarcity mindset rather than what's called an abundance mindset. Hi, Wendy. And I was always focusing on on what I didn't have, couldn't afford, couldn't do, rather than being grateful for all the things that I did have, that I could afford, and that I could do. And as a result, I was always stressed. I was always, oh my God, I can never, I'm not good enough. I can't do enough. I can't do what I'm wanting to do, so therefore I'm a failure, okay? And I was constantly comparing myself, what I've considered my failures, to those who I felt were actually achieving or exceeding their dreams. And I believed I was going to be the one who was going to end up dying, and her tombstone was going to simply read, she had great potential. Whoop-de-doo, she had great potential. In other words, she didn't live up to her potential, okay? And I absolutely decided I did not want my tombstone to say that. So, but before I get there, fear has been a driving force in virtually all of my decisions in the past. I had a fear of failure. I had a fear of losing everything. I had a fear of how I would look in the eyes of others. Fear of being hurt. Fear of being taken advantage of. Fear of, well, you name it. I was afraid of it, okay? As a result, I rarely had enough money to do nice things for my kids. I rarely got to do the one thing that I absolutely love to do the most, and that's travel. And if any of y'all know me now, you know I do a lot of traveling now, so things have changed. I struggled to pay my bills, even my basic living expenses. But rather, primarily, and it wasn't so much because I didn't have enough money, okay? It was primarily because I had never become what's called financially literate. I didn't know how to use my money. Hi, Lori. I didn't know how to use it wisely to accomplish the goals that I wanted to accomplish. So I passed on, and because of all that fear, I passed many, many opportunities throughout those 30 years that would have probably helped me reach many of the dreams and goals in my life that I have had. Because of those deep-seated fears, okay? As a result, I was stuck in survival mode in an attempt to simply exist, and without drama or great pain. Never realizing that by doing that, I was actually dying inside. I was emotionally dying inside, and the pain was there anyway, okay? So I wasn't avoiding the pain, even though that's what I was attempting to do. So now, fast forward to today. Let's get rid of all the yicky stuff, okay? Now, my life has done a 180-degree turn, okay? I've completely changed the direction of my life. Instead of standing still and doing nothing, I'm now walking, and a lot of times I'm running towards what I'm wanting to do. And I realize I have something to accomplish on this earth. I have something unique for me to accomplish. Now, is the fear gone? No, not completely. Fear still kind of lurks back there in the shadows, okay? But here's the thing. It's in the periphery. It's receding from the periphery, my periphery view. So all those deeply ingrained fears have not been completely eradicated, but they have been set aside. And their hold on my mind and the actions that I take are less and less of a factor with every passing day. You know, fear, in other words, fear no longer dictates what I decide to do. Now, it no longer stops me from living, and life has become pretty full and rich. It's become very colorful. I love colors. I used to wear a lot of tans and blacks and whites, and I didn't want to stand out in a crowd. Now, I don't know if you know, if you see anything about me on Facebook, I wear colors. Even my glasses have color, okay? And I get lots of compliments on my glasses. I don't wear them on here because you get a lot of reflections, and I can see, so that's not a big deal. So, have I reached all of my goals? No, I haven't. I've reached some of them, though. But the difference is that I'm now actively moving towards my goals. Now, where once I had no hope of attaining any of my dreams, okay, now, without a doubt, I have an absolute confidence that so long as I continue to do the things that I know I should be doing to reach my goals, I will reach them. It's inevitable. When you do the things you're supposed to do to reach the goals you're wanting to reach, it is inevitable that you will reach those goals. So what's the difference between the me of yesterday and the me of today? It's my mindset. Plain and simple. It is my mindset. The me of yesterday had what I consider a bankrupt mindset. I had nothing in reserves to draw from. Nothing. Okay. If something would happen, I would be blown out of the water and I'd be blown into the water and I'd be sinking fast. Okay. Now the me today has a mindset where I make daily deposits, and I'll talk about that in a little bit more tonight and a lot more over the next 6 days. Now those deposits that I make into my mindset, they compound with interest. They have compounding interest. And for my financial friends, you'll understand what I'm talking about. When you make a daily deposit, there's something called interest. And if you have even a smaller interest, it will compound, because especially if it compounds daily, and it becomes an exponential growth. And that is something that we will definitely be talking about a little bit more as we go on in this series. Now, in the past, I also had no confidence. Because I had no confidence, I was filled with a lot of fear for taking action. Because I rarely, if ever, took action, I remained stuck in that downward spiral of mediocrity and despair. And today I have a clarity of purpose, which has created confidence in me. And that confidence has moved me to take action and doing those things that will move me towards my goals. Now, the more action I take, the greater momentum I build. That's that interest, that compounding interest, which moves me towards my goals at a greater and greater speed. So now, the road I traveled to get where I am today was not a straight road, okay? If you ever talk to anyone who says they made, they're clearly in a good space in their life, and they say, "Oh, it was easy peasy, no problem," run away from them, because they're lying. They're lying, okay? If you've ever, even when you see, okay, let's talk about the stock market for a minute. Have you ever seen a great stock market? I mean, it is just moving up and up and up. It is not a straight line. There are so many dips and valleys and hills, and there's ups and downs, but it's a steady upward trend, okay? My life was very similar to that. Now, for a while, it was very flat, and sometimes it was going down. But then when I changed my mindset, it began that upward trend. And along the way, I had lots of bumps and valleys. But here's the thing, because I had my mindset right, I was able to get through those bumps and valleys a lot smoother. I was able to climb out of the valleys a lot faster. I was able to get over those hills, get up those hills to get to the other side a lot easier, okay? So, what is this mindset thing that I keep talking about? Okay, mindset is simply that which you focus on the most, okay? So whatever we focus on the most is what will manifest in our lives daily, okay? If we're constantly focused on, don't forget your sunglasses, don't forget my sunglasses, don't forget my sunglasses, guess what? You're going to forget your sunglasses. You're going to get down the road and you're going, oh my goodness, I forgot my sunglasses. You're going to have to turn around and you're going to have to go back and get your sunglasses, okay? Now, let's change that up just a little bit. Let's just say, remember to take my sunglasses. And you keep saying that. Remember to take my sunglasses. You're most likely going to remember the sunglasses. Now, it's a subtle change in focus, but with completely different outcomes. So if we constantly focus on what we don't have, can't afford, or don't want, then guess what? That's exactly what we end up with more of, okay? But if we focus on what we do want, what we do have, and what we can afford, C-A-N, not C-A-N-T, or apostrophe T, amazing things can happen. Now, developing a winning mindset, though, does take a lot of practice. It does not happen overnight. In fact, I don't know, by practicing, I'll get to what I was getting ready to say in just a moment. By practicing a winning mindset, we develop a new habit that will eventually become automatic. And that's what I was getting ready to say. Research indicates it takes at least 2 months to create a new habit or replace an old one. And everyone is different, though. And because of that, how long it actually takes for you to build a new habit or replace an old one, it's totally dependent on your behavior, how consistently you practice the new behavior, and the circumstances that you're in, okay? If you want to set your expectations so that you don't get discouraged along the way of creating your new mindset, because again, it's going to be bumpy, it's not going to be perfect, okay? But if you don't want to become too discouraged along the way, you want to set your expectations appropriately. And it's going to take at least 2 to 8 months to create that new behavior so that it becomes automatic. So that rather than automatically going to a negative thought pattern, now you're starting to go to a more positive thought pattern. And I apologize if my eyes keep shifting. I'm still getting used to, I'm trying to figure out my camera so that I can know what I'm doing with it. And sometimes it gets a little awkward for me. Anyway, back to what I was doing. So if you have had what I call stinkin thinking, which I had a lot of stinkin thinking in the past, and if you've had it especially for a long time, don't expect it to be replaced overnight. It will take, here's that dirty word, discipline, okay, to develop the new way of thinking. It will take much practice to implement the new thought patterns so that they become your default mode of thinking. Now, there's a saying in the world, personal development, and that's what this is all about. It's about personal development. We are developing our minds on a personal basis, okay? There's this saying, either you run your day or the day runs you. So let's take that a step further and switch that up just a little bit. Either you tell your mind what to think or your mind will tell you how to think. In other words, just random thoughts will come in and they'll dictate what you're thinking about versus, yes, random thoughts will come into your mind, but you can choose whether or not to dwell on those thoughts or not. So, humans very, very naturally are drawn to negative stuff. Have you ever been driving down the road and there's an accident that you come up on and you find yourself rubbernecking because you want to see the negative thing that has happened? Guess what? That is a very natural human instinct. It's a natural thing to do. Okay, but as a result, we often live negative, very chaotic lives, and as a result, we're susceptible to that infiltration of trauma, okay, in our lives. And the more we focus on that, the more yucky stuff is going to be in our lives, just as a result. Okay, fear will seem to dominate everything when you're in that kind of a mode, okay? But there is a solution, and for those things, but here's something that you need to know. For things to get better, you must become better. You must become a better person if you want things in your life to become better. And for things to actually change, again, we must change first. And that's what this is all about. It's the first step in changing your life. If you don't like where your life is right this moment, then this this 7 days is going to be really, really important to you. And I want you to come back and check this out every single night over the next 7 days, or tonight and the next 6 nights, because this is going to give you some really, really practical steps, okay? Now, I personally, because of a lot of the personal development that I've done in working on my mindset, I no longer dread my alarm clock in the mornings. I love my new days. I love my new days, okay? I get to look forward to what my next day has in store for me. Every day I wake up means that I still have a purpose in my life to fulfill. Every day I wake up gives me a new day to start over, hit the reset button from the day before, and it affords me another opportunity to run my day. Gives me another opportunity to help one more person, okay? So here's what's going to be happening over the next six episodes. We're going to dive deep into how to overcome our past and current stinkin' thinking, and steps that you can take to develop a winning mindset. We'll be discussing very practical strategies that will help you refocus your mind so that you can finally achieve that for which you were placed on this earth to achieve, okay? Yes, it's very possible to completely change your life one thought and one action at a time. And it's not voodoo, I promise you. Yes, I was just in New Orleans here a few weeks ago, so voodoo is still on my brain. So now, I wanna leave you with this. Your greatness is just on the other side of your fear. What is it that you are afraid of? Do whatever it takes to get on the other side of that fear. And this next 6 episodes is going to help you get on the other side of your fear. It's going to help you identify what your fears are also, okay? So again, I just want to thank you all for being a part of my journey and allowing me to be a little bit a part of your journey. If you're open to learning more about, this and other topics that could help move you more quickly toward what you're wanting to achieve, then either drop me a line below or email me. My email is in the description that's attached, and tomorrow we'll be having another great episode, and that's when we're going to really start getting into the nitty-gritty about how to actually change your mindset. Now, we just kind of did an overview tonight, but tomorrow, get your pens and paper ready because we're going to start diving deep. So, love y'all. Thank you for tuning in, and see you tomorrow night. Ta-ta.